I'm really pleased to be here today with Annie, who's the Vice President of Silicon Valley Bank. She's been with the bank for 5 years. We are at Launch Bio. And tell us a little bit about your organization and what you do.
Sure. So Silicon Valley Bank obviously started in Silicon Valley, investing in the startups in that area. That was about 30 plus years ago. So since then, we've branched out a lot more. We have teams that finance companies in renewable energy, software, hardware, and then life sciences, the team that I'm on. So we have an office down here in San Diego, and in San Diego we're kind of split out our team. My focus is biotech and diagnostics companies. I have counterparts that work in the med device, healthcare IT, healthcare services space. And so, in addition to the day-to-day banking products that everyone's familiar with, kind of my big focus is venture debt to these biotech and diagnostics companies. So figuring out a way that we can, most of these companies aren't producing revenues for a very long time, if at all. So being able to come up with creative ways to structure facility that we can get comfortable with as a bank, and also providing value add to the biotechs that we work with.
And how do you find deals?
Yeah, so thankfully the SVB name has carries a lot of weight.
Yes.
So most times, I'm never cold calling or trying to hunt down new deals. We do have a dedicated BD team that will source new deals, but it's kind of a function of our existing deals being refinanced. If a company achieves a milestone, we'll kind of reset the clock, reset the deal. And then also just word of mouth. I mean, especially in San Diego, it's such a tight-knit community. The CEO is going to be on a board of some other company who knows someone who's going to refer us. So fortunately, it's never been too hard to source deals, and the deal flow has been pretty consistent over the last few years.
And how long does it take to go through your due diligence process?
Yeah, it can vary, and we try to set expectations to the client. If it's something really competitive, they say, hey, we have 3 other term sheets on the table. Can you get us something in a week? We will do that. We will meet that. If it's something where, we have a little more time, we'll dive a little deeper. But I'd say on average, once we have everything we need, anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks to get a term sheet, and then from there, if they agree on it, get the ball rolling. That's when it can vary a lot, because as everyone knows, once you get the lawyers involved, that can extend the timeline greatly, or it can be very efficient. So we just try to kind of set the precedent that we're going to match the competition and never want to lose a deal just because we couldn't meet a timeline.
And so what is the ideal deal you look for?
Yeah, so SVB's kind of thesis, especially on the biotech side, I'd say that's probably 80% of my portfolio, is we're looking for, companies that have institutional investment. So it's hard for us to really structure a debt deal anytime before that, just because the way we look at it is, at the end of the day, if there is some sort of negative outcome, it's the funds from those rounds that are going to pay us back. And SVB actually banks most of the VC and PE firms that are investing into our companies. So a big part of our diligence is calling on those investors saying, hey, what was your investment thesis? Do you have the ability to deploy more capital? How do you feel about the management team? How do you feel about their ability to perform the next 12 to 18 months? So that's a huge part of our underwriting, in addition to obviously the financial analysis. And then also we'll look at the management team. Have they done this before? Do they have an exit in the space? Do they have the experience needed to really grow this company?
Yeah, excellent. And so how do people find you if they're interested?
Silicon Valley Bank, we're not just in Silicon Valley, we're located here in San Diego. So obviously svb.com, LinkedIn, it's all pretty easy to find us. And we have 30 offices across the nation. We also are in China, the UK, Israel. We just opened an office in Germany, Canada. So we're all over the place. Yeah, it's hard to avoid us at this point.
And how early, should people work at developing a relationship with you before they're in the process of getting institutional investors?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of clients that I have, maybe will start with opening accounts. Maybe they have a credit card, a debit card, maybe they have some other banking needs. And our theory is that, we want to build that relationship early on, so that when you are going to raise out your institutional round, we're your first call. Because if we're reading a press release that you raised the round, it's probably too late for
Yes.
us. So, there may not be as much that we can offer at the beginning, but we always want to have that conversation, start building that relationship, because, that's how we'll source those deals once they do come 6 months, 12 months down the road.
So tell me a couple of tips you share with entrepreneurs.
That's a good question. Yeah, I'd say I think getting the right team together is critical, especially for us. I mean, a lot of times maybe it's a deal that we wouldn't normally look at, but we say, hey, we've worked with this management team before, they had this exit, they've shown success. That carries a lot of weight to us. So I think finding the right people in the beginning, and that also goes along with finding the right partners. So Silicon Valley Bank kind of has a reputation for, we're really going to work. We want to be more than a transactional bank. We want to be partners. So, beyond deploying venture debt, if you say, hey, I need a CFO, do you know anyone? We'll kind of go through our Rolodex, let's see who we can find that would be a good fit. Or maybe you're looking to, expand into China. Well, we have a joint venture in China, and we have people in China that would maybe make sense for you to intro. So I think surrounding yourself with the people and the partners, whether it be, IP lawyers, banks, whatever it may be, early on, really kind of sets the tone for success.
And you're right, and I think, a big piece is those relationships you mentioned with the VCs. Corrigan VC in New York just did a blog last month, and they talked about, they went back and looked at every deal they'd funded. Every one of them was from a referral.
Yeah.
So those relationships are critical.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure.